Where do we get apples from? Do they come from the United States? How far do apples travel before they arrive in Amesbury, Massachusetts? Who grew those apples? What needed to happen in order for an apple to make it to my nearby supermarket? We never seem to think of these things when we go to the supermarket because we're so used to the convenience of that food item just being there, ready to be purchased. There's such a large variety of apples when we go to the store, and they all seem to look the same. But the most grown apple is called Red Delicious. But where I went shopping, they didn't have that one, so I had to choose a Gala apple, which is the second most grown apple. But this apple that I have in my hand, where did it come from? The largest chance is that it came from Washington State. Washington State is the #1 apple producer in the country, growing about 2.5 million tons every year. It looks like there's a plentiful amount of apples, with the rows and rows and pyramids full with apples. But with the rising in climate, it can mess with the apple's color, and instead of being red and shiny, they're pinkish brown, resulting in them not making it to the supermarket. And to this day, apples are still all single-handedly hand-picked the old-fashioned way, which means every single apple that you see at the grocery store was hand-picked by a hard-working farmer. Commercial apple harvesting is no casual job. Teams of men and a few women will clamber up ladders and lean into the trees, using their hands as quickly as possible, grabbing apples and dropping them into bags which are strapped to their waists. When the bags are full, each worker walks or runs to a nearby wagon and empties their bag into a huge bin, which is big enough to hold almost 1,000 pounds of apples, and that is his bin to fill, and he gets paid by the box. An experienced picker who is in good physical condition will pick no less than 12 boxes in a day, which is roughly 6 tons of apples. Once the apples are picked, they are transported to packing facilities, where the first step is to check over the apples and sort them into groups. Then the apples pass under a scanner that checks every single apple for their color, shape and roundness, bruises, and any other physical deformities. The apples are then stored in refrigerated rooms, kept just above freezing, and they stay there to a few days to even months. When the apples are ready for the market, they go through one final visual inspection. They are then tagged with a sticker and packaged by hand. Then those boxes are refrigerated once again in the shipping room, and they await delivery to store shelves. Apples are one of the most symbolic fruits, and they hold a central place in traditions of many cultures. In the book of Genesis, Adam and Eve are exiled from the Garden of Eden after defying God's command by eating the forbidden fruit. Although the Bible does not actually say what kind of fruit this is, the later interpretations of biblical text often give it the form of an apple, and it's possible an allusion to the apple's symbolization is a sensuous object which ties in with Adam and Eve's newfound shame at their nakedness. Typically, we spend Thanksgiving at my neighbor's daughter's house because my entire family lives in Germany. But this year, our Thanksgiving was a bit smaller, being just my mom, dad, and I. I really enjoy to bake, so this year I was able to make the apple pie for dessert. But when we go to my neighbor's daughter's house, I'm not allowed to bake, especially not an apple pie, because my neighbor's apple pie has to be the star of the table once the turkey leaves, and everyone has to love it. And if you don't love it, you better be a good liar. But it is a tradition every year to eat the apple pie with vanilla ice cream, and tease my neighbor just a little bit about us not liking the apple pie, even though it's really good.